Hello, friends. I'm Anil on behalf of E.Academy. I welcome you all in my 30 days of revision class of CIP. So, we have arrived at Unit 33, that is called Restructuring, Rehabilitation, and Recovery. So, in continuation, we'll start with the what is called credit default. So, credit default means the inability or unwillingness of a customer or counterparty to meet commitment in relation to lending. Trading on any financial transaction is called credit default. So credit default is part of our risk. I told you CMO, credit market and operation. So I'll just read it here. What is credit default? So credit default is nothing but inability or unwillingness. Sometimes what happens, the customer is unable to meet the our credit requirement. That means he is not able to pay back the amount what he has taken as a loan, or he is unwilling. That means even though he is able to pay but he's not paying. This is also called credit default. So next is what is called stressed assets. So stressed assets are those assets in which the default has either already occurred or which are facing a reasonable certain prospect of default. That means stressed assets are those either in which default has already occurred or which are facing reasonable certain prospect that in future they are going to be default. And stressed assets are defined as an account where principal and or interest, either principal or interest or both, remains overdue for more than 30 days. So those are called stressed assets. Now moving ahead, non-performing asset is very nowadays talk about this term is their non-performing assets. All banking sector is facing this problem and they are focusing on non-performing assets only. So non-performing asset is defined as a credit facility in respect of which interest and or installment of bond finance principal has remained past due. And what is that past due? Well, that is 90 days. That means interest and principal or interest are both, and some other criteria is also there that remain overdue for more than 90 days will be called as non-performing assets. And if overdue are less than 90 days, they will not be, they will be categorized as special mentioned account. That means SMA 0, SMA 0, SMA 1 and SMA 2. SMA 0 is 1 to 30 and 31 to 60 and 61 to 90. So this is the category. If it is more than 90, before 90 it is SMA 0, 1, 2, and if it is less than 90 days it's not NPA. If it is more than 90 days then it will become the NPA. And NPA assets are also categorized as following. That means further classifications there. These are called substandard, doubtful and loss assets. So after 90 days, if it is remain NPA, after 90 days if it is remain NPA for 1 year, it is called substandard. And next 2 years it will be called as a doubtful, and after that it will be loss assets. So I'll repeat once again here. Substandard after 90 days up to 1 year it is substandard, and after 1 year means 90, then 1 year, then after 1 year doubtful will be there. Doubtful will be another. So doubtful asset is further divided into 3 parts, that is called D1, D2 and D3. So I'll just tell you here what is D1 and D2 and D3. D1, D2 and D3. So after substandard, it is be called for 1 year. 1 year it will be doubtful and D1, and from 1 year to 2 years it will be D2. So starting with, I just clarify here, and D3 will be for after this years, so will be called D3. I will clarify the doubts also, the duration of the time. Let's say one account has become substandard as on 1st March. Okay, 1st03/21 it has become substandard. That means it has become NPA after completing the 90 days. Now substandard will be 1 year. Now 90 days are over, and because 90 days as counted as SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. Okay, after the substandard means it will remain substandard up to 01/03/22. Then after that it will be declared as a doubtful, and doubtful will be for 1 year. That means will continue 01, 03 and 23. And again it will be for doubtful, that will be for 2 years. So 01, 03 and it will go to 25. So after that it will be doubtful 3. And again doubtful 3 will remain for 1 year. So that means after that it will be declared as a loss assets. So 03/26 will be doubtful 3. So this is the timeline for the substandard, doubtful and loss assets. 90 days are counted as a before that. That means this will be substandard as on, if you go back to the 90 days, that means 1/01/21. So 1/01/21 it was declared as, it came in the category of SMA. Now, what is willful defaulter? Willful defaulter would be deemed to have occurred if any of the following event is noted. So, the unit is said to be defaulted in payment, repayment of obligations to the lender, even they has the capacity to honor the said obligations. That means they have honor, but they are not paying the due to the lender. And unit has defaulted in meaning the payment, repayment obligation to the lender, and has not utilized the finance from the lender for a specific purpose. That means for what purpose the loan has been given, they are not using for that purpose. They are using for some another purpose for which the finance was availed, but has diverted the fund for other purpose. Like if some unit have taken loan for their working capital, but they have diverted fund for the procurement of fixed assets. So there will be the diversion of fund, and they will also be called as a defaulted and called as a willful default. Okay, and third point is unit has defaulted in meeting its payment, repayment obligation, and has siphoned off the fund, so that fund has not been utilized for the specific purpose for which finance was availed, and not the fund available with the unit in the form of other assets. That means if one company is having some other sub branches there, let's say company has taken for the particular purpose for one unit, but they have diverted the fund to the second unit some other purpose. So this is called siphoning of the fund. So this is also called in the category of willful defaulter. And number 4 point is that unit has defaulted in meeting repayment obligation to the lender, and has also disposed of or removed the movable fixed assets or immovable property which has been given in securing the terms. That means either has been mortgaged or has been given as a loan or it has been pledged. So for and this property was in possession of the borrower and this they have disposed of without the knowledge of the bank, or they have removed from fixed assets from the on from that side. So this is also called willful default. So I have seen here were the four actions which entail the willful default. Okay, now moving ahead. Yeah, publication of photograph of willful defaulters. So whether a company or lender can publish a photograph of willful defaulter, yes or no? Yes, they can publish a photograph of willful defaulter. Rule is there. Some specific guidelines has been issued by RBI. So lending institution can consider the publishing of photograph of willful defaulter, including, okay, if it was a individual, they can publish the photograph of individual, or if it is a company or it is trust or it is a proprietorship or their partnership firm, including the proprietors, directors, partners and guarantors, they can publish the photograph of willful defaulters. But there are some restrictions also. Photo of non-whole time directors, that means director who's not permanent, you cannot publish the photograph of that director. So we should not. One more the rule is there. Banks should have transparency in publishing the photograph of the willful defaulter. Meaning they should not publish whatever they want. So they should have a policy with them, with proper approval of the board of directors. That means they should have proper guidelines issued within the bank with the approval of board of directors. They can publish the photograph of willful defaulters. Now, if any staged assets is there, what bank should do? So, bank has many options available with them. Number one, exit from the account. So, bank may consider the exit from the account means they can transfer to the some other banking institute, financial institute. So, they can hand over, exit from the account. Okay, and they must be having one proper recovery procedure. So, we can hand over to them. Okay. Rescheduling and restructure. Rescheduling means we can reschedule there and we can restructure. Restructure, we can give the more time to them, or we can give additional time. We can additional finance. It's called rescheduling. And same category rehabilitation, that the if company or lender is not able to perform, his company is not able to perform due to some reason or other reason, like in time of corona, many companies they failed, they were not able to pay bank loan to the bank, so they require some additional fund to restart their functioning of the company. So that is called rehabilitation. So they are asking the additional fund from the bank, so bank may consider to rehabilitate their enterprise. Okay, and nothing is possible. If nothing is possible, like rescheduling is not possible, first bank try to resort this rescheduling, restructure and rehabilitation. Then they go for the compromise. So compromise is the procedure in which both lender and borrower come to the conclusion, okay, you pay me this sort of amount, will settle our dues. I'll just take one example here. Let's say one lender has taken 1 lakh rupees as a principal amount, and over the period of time the total dues has become 2,50,000. But due to some constraint he is not able to pay the dues, then they can come to the table and they come to compromise, okay, you pay 1,50,000 rupees as dues and we settle the whole amount or a lesser amount, whatever compromise is there. So this compromise can be done also. Okay, next, if nothing is possible, that means because nothing is possible, all these three efforts are done. If nothing is possible, then legal action. Okay, nothing is coming on the, nothing is happening, nothing is working, then legal action. Legal action means DRT is there, court is there, lok adalat is there. So that can also be taken, or civil court is also there. We can go for the civil court also. But after happening everything, legal action, because legal action is very time taking, time consuming, and money consuming also. Sometimes because case take very longer duration. So what happens? Bank go for the write off the account, but write off means they totally write off the value, but it doesn't mean the obligation of the borrower is removed. Even the account is written off, that liability remain as soon as the liability, as soon as the lender is capable of paying, the bank will ask his money from the lender. Now next is the corporate debt restructuring mechanism. This is very, very important topic of this chapter. Corporate debt restructuring mechanisms. In short, we call it the CDR. We'll be using the word CDR. This is a short form of corporate debt restructuring mechanism. So what is the objective of this? Because large corporate houses, they are having a lot of money from the banks, and so objective of CDR mechanism framework is to act as timely and transparent mechanism for restructuring of corporate debts of viable entities facing problem. That entity must be viable, means entity must be ready to restart with all horizon. I will explore all the horizon of this entity. Then the corporate debt restructuring is considered, and it is the outside of the purview of BIFR. New word has come here: Board for Industrial and Finance Reconstruction. I repeat once again: BIFR stand for Board for Industrial and Finance Reconstruction, DRT, and other legal proceedings. So if they are out of the purview of all these BIFR, DRT, and other legal proceedings, the bank go for the CDR mechanism. Okay, now we'll study about the CDR. So reference to CDR mechanism may be triggered by how this CDR will be starting. So CDR will be starting any or more creditors having 20% of share in either working capital or term finance, or by the concerned corporate if supported by bank and financial minimum 20% share as above. So creditors having minimum 20% of share, or bank or financial having minimum 20% of share as above, they can trigger CDR mechanism. Okay, and CDR mechanism, structure of CDR system, they have 3 tier system, that is called CDR standing forum, CDR empowered group, and CDR cell. So CDR standing forum is the highest effect, and the CDR empowered group, a group of selected people, and CDR cell is there. So now we'll study one by one what is the function, what is the constituents is there. Okay, now CDR standing forum, top tier of CDR mechanism. I told you this CDR standing forum is top tier mechanism and representative general body of financial institutions and bank. So this is the general body of all financial institutions and bank participating in CDR system. This forum comprises chief executives of all India financial institutions and scheduled bank. Okay, but this does not include RRBs, cooperative banks, and non-banking financial companies. That means in CDR, what is the composition? Composition is executive, all chief executive of all India financial institution and scheduled bank. Okay. Now next, it is a self-empowered body. It is self-empowered body. That means all chief executive of all India financial institutions and banks, they come together, and in which RRB, cooperative bank, and non-banking financial companies are not included. They are not part of CDR. Okay. It is a self-empowered body which lays down policies and guidelines to be followed by CDR empowered group. So because CDR empowered group has three part, number I told you CDR, I just show you here. So CDR standing forum, CDR empowered group, and CDR cell. Okay, so these are the three parts. So now we are talking about the CDR standing forum. Okay, now so they laid down the policy for the to be followed by CDR empowered group, CDR cell for debt restructuring and ensure their smooth functioning and adherence to the prescribed time schedule for the debt restructuring. So their main job is the debt restructuring of corporate loans. Okay, so it provide an official platform for both creditors and borrowers, issue to be resolved amicably and collectively evolve policies and guidelines for working out debt restructuring plan in the interest of all concerned. Okay, that means that it is a common platform for both lender and borrowers. They come together, they plan amicably, means friendly, and they resolve the issue. For what there is also for restructuring. Okay, restructuring means they are not able to pay the loan, then they come to for the restructuring of the loan. Okay, and standing for a monitor the progress of CDR mechanism. It can also review individual decisions of the CDR empowered group. That means individual decision of CDR, because it is the apex body. CDR forum is the apex body. They can review the decision of CDR empowered group and CDR cell. Okay, forum can also formulate guidelines of dispensing special treatment to cases which are complicated and likely to be delayed beyond the time frame prescribed for processing. Because sometimes what happens, the case is very, very complicated. Many banks are involved, many financial institutions are involved. Their share is something different. So what is the timeline for their meeting? They meet at least once every 6 months. So meeting of CDR forum is held at least once every 6 months. So every 6 months they have to meet. Okay, now CDR empowered group. So this is the next body of the CDR forum, CDR empowered group. The individual cases of corporate debt restructuring are decided by CDR empowered group, which is second tier of the structure of CDR mechanism in India. And who are the members? You can see empowered group in respect of individual cases comprise ED, Executive Director Level Representative of Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI, ICICI Bank, State Bank of India as a standing member. Okay, that means ED of this bank will be as a member. Okay, in addition to ED level representative, there are more members. Have an exposure to concerned company. Okay, that means in addition to ED level representative of financial bank have an exposure to concerned company. That banks they can also participate, who are having exposure to that concerned company. They can also send their representative in the formation of empowered group. Okay, while the standing member of EG facilitate the conduct of groups meeting, voting in proportional to exposure, keep in mind, and number of the concerned lender only. That means the voting will be taken by the only the lenders, and voting will be in proportion, means something may be having 30%, something may be having 40% exposure, then having 20% exposure, something 10%. So accordingly their vote will be counted. Their vote value will be as per their proportion of their exposure. Okay, more the exposure, the value of the vote will be more, and vice versa. And EG means empowered group consider the preliminary flash report of all cases, request of restructuring, submitted to it by CDR cell, because CDR cell is the lower body, so they send to CDR send the request of restructuring to EG. EG means empowered group. After the EG decide that restructuring of company's debt is prima facie, means it is compulsory, feasible, and concerned enterprise is potentially viable in terms of policies and guidelines evolved by standing forum. The detailed restructuring package is worked out by the referring institute in conjunction with the CDR cell. So if they found that, okay, first what they do, CDR cell submit the request to the EG, mean empowered group. Empowered group carry out the study. They go as per the primary facie, if it is okay, if everything is okay, all policies are okay, then we can go for the restructuring. So here is some timeline that they have to follow. EG is mandated to look into each case of debt restructuring, examine the viability and rehabilitation potential of company, and approve the restructuring package within a specific time frame of 90 days. That means EG has got 90 days time to approve this. Okay, when the CD cell is sending the request, they have got the 90 days, or at best within 180 days of reference to the EG. Okay, or at best means 90 days, or extra 90 days has been, then 180 days they have to decide. Okay, and case to case basis. And for that purpose, merit of the case. So they have to consider the following cases. What are the consider they have cases? Means they have to take some point into account before coming to the decision. DSCBR, debt service covering ratio, we have already seen. Break even point is the where the profit is equal to total expenditure. Okay, return on capital, IRR means internal rate of return, cost of capital, loan life ratio, and extent of sacrifice. So these are the parameters based on which the EG takes decision. Okay, and this decision is case to case basis. There is no one thumb rule is there. Okay, so case to case basis, depending upon the viability of the project, they take their decision. Okay, now next we are going to okay, how this package is sanctioned. And one more thing is that EG meets on 2 occasions to discuss flash and final report. Okay, respect of each borrower account. This provides an opportunity to participating member to seek proper authorization from their CEO and ED, whatever the case may be there. Sometimes what happens now, the members are not having their ED as a representative, so they have to take proper authorization from their bank, represented by CEO and ED. And EG meets as on 2 occasions. Okay, where the apex body was meeting, forum was meeting 6 monthly, but they are meeting to discuss the case. Meeting may be any interval of time. Okay, now how this sanction implementation will be carried out. So this also they have got timeline for this. Okay, once the final restructuring plan is approved and confirmed by empowered group, CDR shall issue a letter of approval for the restructuring package to all concerned lenders. That means they approve the package, and they send letter to all concerned lenders. The individual lender are required to sanction the restructuring package within 45 days. Okay, that means they have to approve that whatever decision has been taken by the EG, they have to approve that package. Okay, and thereafter fully implement in next 45 days. Total 90 days after decision, total 90 days are theirs, and 45 plus 45 they have to implement their decision. Okay, now CDR cell, we see the working of CDR. CDR is the lower body of the CD mechanism. Okay, so CDR is the third tier of CDR mechanism in India, is mandated to assist the CDR standing forum and CDR empowered group in all their functions. Okay, so this is the lower body of okay. Now, so means they carry out all the paper. So it is responsibility of the lead institution major stakeholder to the corporate to work out the preliminary restructuring plan in consultation with other and to submit to CDR cell. Okay, so they submit proposal to CDR cell. So CDR is the first body where the request is submitted by the corporate and lenders. Okay, all stakeholders. So they carry out many work. Okay. Okay, one more thing is that what EG can do. EG can approve or suggest modification to the restructuring plan, but ensure that final decision is taken within total. I told you total 90 days. Total 90 days are there, but period can also be extended up to maximum of 180 days. They have got the 45 plus 45. In 45 days you implement and you take decision, and within 45 you must approve the package, and okay, no problem, but it must be implemented in the 180 days, but there has to be some genuine reason. Okay, it's not that you extend this every time. You extend is 180 days. Okay, next. One more important is their joint lenders forum. Okay, so joint lender forum is different from CDR. So as soon as, so we'll now study about the joint lenders forum. As soon as an account is reported by any lender to the CLIC as SMA2, here we are talking about the joint lenders. Keep in mind, joint means more than two or more than two. They should mandatorily form a committee called as JLF, means Joint Lenders Forum. Okay. If aggregate exposure, fund and non-fund base of lender account is 100. This is, now we are talking about the lender's point of view. That's CDR was the one forum where they were meeting, lenders and borrower. Here we are talking about the lenders only. Okay. So lenders have option to form JLF even if A is less than 100 crore. So our break-even point was means here 100 means mean point is 100 crore. So if exposure is means less than 100, then also they can form the JLF. Even if your account is SMA 0 or SMA 2. Their condition was, previously condition was 100 crore and SMA 2 only. Okay. Now, borrower may also request. Now, case is coming of the borrower. This was the lender only. Joint forum was for lender, but borrower may also request with substantial ground to form JLF. Means borrower can come forward and he can request to the lender, okay, you form one JLF. We are not able to sustain. Our account is going NPA. So you form a JLF. If AE is more than 100 crore, but aggregate exposure must be more than 100, then only the borrower can come forward. Okay. And JLF formation and corrective action is mandatory if AE is more than 100 crore. Okay, but JLF formation and corrective action is compulsory if exposure is more than 100 crore. But if it is less than 100 crore, it is optional. So main point is your 100 crore and SMA 2 account. Now here also, like CDR empowered group, JLF empowered group is also here. So we'll see one empowered group will be formed on for approval of rectification restructure package under the corrective action plan, means CAP. What corrective action plan is to be taken? So one empowered group is to be formed. Now we'll see what are the members, how the members are formed in JLF EG. Okay. Now see, so here we are talking about the JLF empowered group, JLF EG. So what is the composition? Composition is as follows. That means top two banks, SBI and ICICI are permanent member. Okay, these two banks are permanent bank member. But what will happen? Okay, now we'll discuss one by one here cases. If SBI and ICI are lender, okay, These two are lender. Three lenders having largest exposure. That means other than SBI and ICICI, other three will be there. That means 2 plus 3. Okay. Lenders means total lender how much? 5. And two other bank largest advance but not exposure. That means plus 2. So how many total member? 7. Total 7. 5 exposure, 2 non-exposure. Okay. And here 2 are SBI and ICICI. So SBI, ICICI because they are permanent. They are 2 are there. Okay. Next, if either SBI or ICICI lender means only one. So either one of them is 1 is there. So we'll take 1. But because 1 is a member, so these 2 will be member and other 4 will be having largest exposure. That means 1 plus 4. And plus 1 non-exposure bank plus 1. But here ICICI and SBI are the members, so you add 1 more here. So 2 plus 4 equal to 7 once again. Because SBI, ICICI are the lender. Okay, so total lender must be 5. So that's why you have taken 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1. I repeat once again. Let's say SBI is a lender, ICICI is a lender, so this will become ICICI. Okay, and this is 4 again lender, then 1 last one bank non-lender. Okay, now last point. If neither SBI nor our lender means they are not, but they are member. So 2 will be there. Then all 5 should be have exposure. So 2 plus 5. In this way, the composition will be there. This means JLF empowered group will form the composition. Okay. Now, what is corrective action plan? Means cap by JLF. The decision agreed upon by minimum 75% of creditors by value. Keep in mind, 75% by value, not number. Okay. And 50% by creditors, by members. That means if member are 6, so we'll take 3 and value will be taken. One may be having more value, so by value we have to take. And we are here the and. Okay. In the JLF would be considered on the basis of proceeding. That means decision agreed upon by whatever decision is taken by 75% by value and 50% by member will be considered as a basis for proceeding with the restructure of the account and will be binding to all lenders. Okay, that means decision taken by will be binding to all members. Okay, and JLF is required to arrive an agreement on option adopted by CAP within 45 days. So time is 45 days. From which date? Date reported as SMA 2 or receipt of request from the borrower from JLF. I mean, they have got 45 days to decide. Okay. And final decision will be within 30 days. So this you have to keep in mind. Then what is the CAP? So CAP are here means they can go for corrective action plan with rectification they can do, the restructuring they can do, they can recovery they can go for. That means if it is not viable project, they can go for the recovery. Other always they try to rectification and restructure. Okay. Now what is the restructure process? So there are 2 types of processes are there. Number 1 is the independent of CDR and number 2 case is referred to CDR. Okay, because they can go for the CDR also, corporate debt restructure mechanism, and they can without corporate debt restructure mechanism also they can go for the restructuring process. So if JLF is deciding that they go for they want to go for independent of CDR, then they have to carry out independent study of techno-economical viability, TEV, economic viability, and they will study the case. They will decide as per their decision. So one more point is very clear. If account with A is less than 500 crore, if they are going for independent. So if account is less than 500 crore, so the structuring package should be approved by JLF and conveyed by the lender to the borrower within next 15 days. Okay, but if exposure is more than 500 crore, then they have to refer this case to the one more committee is called, that is called Independent Evaluation Committee, IEC, Independent Evaluation Committee. So based on the recommendation of, they take the decision. So this is the independent of CDR. And if case is referred to CDR, then we have already studied about the CDR mechanism. So with this, we have finished our class. Please stay tuned with me. Very soon I am going to start our BFM class. So stay tuned with me. And you can share with your friends. You can subscribe my channel. Okay. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.